Welcome to episode 6 of Inside the Tank. I'm your host, Josh Raphael, and today I have with me head softball coach, LeMaire. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Coach, I just want to start by saying congrats. If you don't know, Coach LeMaire got her 500th career win. A lot of coaches don't even get that in their lifetime. So, I kind of just want you to just walk me through your emotions and kind of like how you felt when you got that. But before you start, we do have a little gift for you. You can show the fans.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Well, thank you. I love it. I love pictures and memorabilia, so perfect.
You deserve it, Coach.
Oh, thank you. Gosh, emotions. So, sometimes I joke that like when you get to this many wins, it probably just means you're old. But so there's part of that. But I feel like I've been really fortunate throughout the years, which obviously to get to 500, and like you said, not everyone gets there. It's not something everyone gets to experience, but I've been really, really lucky between Fort Hays and Emporia and here to just really have a lot of kids that bought into the programs that I was running. 2 of the 3 like turning programs around and really battling like downs before ups and I mean at the end of the day, like you can recruit the kids and you can put together the lineups and do all of those things that people think require the work for the wins, but it's really the kids showing up on game day. They have to buy into what you're putting out product wise. They have to fight when they're down and I just really think the credit all goes to them. And I've been so lucky, like, so many years worth. I think this is just an incredible, I would say like showing of what they have, accomplished. So I'm just really fortunate and I feel so blessed for them.
And when you first started your coaching career, did you ever envision yourself being like, wow, like I have 500 career wins?
No, I don't know what I envisioned. I mean, I was young and I was a grinder. I think my old assistant, she's actually the head coach at St. Leo. I think my first year we were like, I don't know if we're going to win 10 games. And that team showed up and fought their tails off. We won 31 games and I did not think we would get double digits. And so each year, like, I try to put the product forward to tell the girls what it takes at this level. I mean, I've been in Division II for now 25 years between a player and a coach, and I think that I can help them to see what it takes, and so I want to win. I think my dad said finally when he said I was at 500 wins. That was the phone call that we had on Monday morning. He said, "You finally got there, huh?" And I was like, "Well, Dad, yes." So, I just hope to ingrain like winning in the girls, and regardless of what number we're at, that's always the goal.
And you lose Alexis Smith, Maddie Fine, Alyssa Drugmiller, Riley, just to name a few. They were they defined what NSU softball is, and you bring in a lot of new faces. How do you expect those newcomers to kind of fill such big shoes?
So, last year when we had those girls, and actually an ironic stat, there is not a single person on the roster that has been here longer than 1 year.
Wow.
So half the year is a 1-year returner, half the team is brand new. So I feel really fortunate with the young ladies that joined, the Alexises, Rileys, Maddies. Like you go through the lineup with the kids that we lost, Julia, Liz, Kirsten, and I feel really fortunate that they were able to spend a year with them in that 1 year. I think it makes a big difference in where we're at right now. And it's so crazy to think about it, but like you look at, Brenna and Tori and Lish, and you don't even realize that they haven't been here for multiple years. And G and Aubrey, I mean, go through the line of our returners, but I really think spending a year with that core you just talked about really helped us to be where we're at. And so I think that, I give a ton of credit to the culture and the program that those young ladies established. Coach LeMaire obviously was with me through a lot of those years too, and then continues to hold that that role on the coaching side. So, it's an interesting mix to look at it that way, but I really feel like the group we have understood what we were after with those girls, and then the ones that we added to it that are on their first year rather than second year, they during the recruiting process, it was all about, this is what we're about, this is what you're buying into, and I really think that they're doing it.
And Cassie Duskin is one of those newcomers.
Yes.
First weekend as a Shark, throws a perfect game. You just don't see that happening
No.
a lot. Can you kind of talk to us a little bit about her and how she's been able to adjust to the Sharks culture?
Yeah, Cass D is a spark plug. I tell her, I think, on my phone call, but definitely on her recruiting visit, I was like, she's a difference maker. Ironically, she came from the same place as Liz D. And so I'm like, I had Liz D, kind of chat with her prior to coming. And, we kind of joke that they're very similar in qualities. And I think that her personality is incredible. The girls want to play behind her. People want to see her succeed. She's fun loving, she's goofy, but she competes. And I think that that's what it takes. And when recruiting her and having conversations, she very much, wanted to win a national championship. She wants to play in the postseason. She wants to be an all-around player. She wants to pitch and hit. And I said to her, if you're able to do those things, you'll do those things. And if you're not, then we'll use you where you're best suited. And she's proven very quickly she can pitch, she can hit, she can play the outfield. And I think that she is what we are looking for in a player. And the first weekend out, she just went out and just got after it in all facets. Even offensively, her numbers from the weekend are incredible. So, I just think that it's exactly what we're looking for in a Shark softball player. And I think she has an incredible year ahead of her.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife type of player.
Yes, you do like that too. Yeah, we got another one.
And you mentioned this past week, your team goes 3-2, but you dealt with a lot of rain delays, a lot of time changes, and your team continued to persevere. Can you kind of tell us, what did you enjoy seeing from your team, and what do you feel like they could have done better?
Enjoyed seeing. I will say, I think that it was good to see some depth in the pitching staff. I feel like Gracie and Cass both have number one qualities, which is something that we haven't had a lot of historically. And they have competitive qualities, which we like on the mound. The remainder of the depth of our pitching staff does some really good things. We just haven't really been in a position to quite use them yet. This first weekend is so vital and important. It's like if they weren't in region, they were top 25 or a postseason contender last year. So, we have to be strategic with that. And the goal is we're out for every game and every win. So, alongside that, I think that we have a lot of great depth that we'll hopefully see in time too, with a staff of 5. So that's something that I really liked. I think that we did a lot of really good things offensively. And then what I'd like to see better, I felt like game 1 base running mistakes definitely got us. Maybe first game jitters, not sure. And you're going out against a good team. So, when you're starting, you don't really have the opportunity to lapse unless they lapse. So I felt like we had a lot of really good opportunities and just didn't execute. And Lubbock Christian did. And so going through the weekend, I felt like we were challenged again with the teams that we did beat. But then also on the flip side, when we went out against Oklahoma Christian, and again, I think there are 24 going into the game. So again, you got to show up with your best game. And we just made a lot of defensive mistakes that were not characteristic of us. And I feel good long term with that, but I really liked the fight that we had. We were down 6-1. We came back with 5 runs to make it 6-5. We had opportunities and chances, and we easily could have just handed the game away. And Brooke came back out and battled after a tough third inning, and those are things that you're although you don't like the situation that you got into, those are things that were really good to see throughout the weekend. And of course, just West Al and West Florida, they're going to be good in their conference and in the region. And I felt like, the product that we put on the field versus them was really good.
And you have a home opener coming up against East Stroudsburg. And it's not just any home opener. You're opening up a brand new softball facility, state of the art. What does the opening of this facility mean to not only you, but the NSU softball program?
I think it means a lot of, like blood, sweat, and tears in terms, everybody loves that saying to use, but coming from A.D. Griffin, that is no joke. I feel like we've had a lot of really good success over there, and we've worked hard for it, and I feel like this is kind of a nice, it's almost like an earned opportunity now versus like a softball field's coming for you, and I felt like we put the program in a good position before this. I'm really excited for the 6 seniors that we have, their last year and final year, they get to open up with this, and although haven't put a lot of years into it, they've put, they've put a lot of success into the program in a short amount of time. And I just, it's gorgeous. Like you just pull into the parking lot, turf makes everything like pop and look sharp. And we've got the huge shark in center field, and I think it's a great viewing. So I think it's an exciting park to play in, and and it puts us like at the top amongst competitors with what we have. So I think it's automatically gonna I think probably put some other opposing teams, it's probably gonna have some shoulders go down because it looks so nice. So I think that it'll be a place where we can appreciate what we have, but it's also going to just, I don't know, be exciting to be able to play and do everything without, and it makes it nice for our grounds guys that have grinded for so hard. And I mean, JC is a grinder, and so is his crew, and it's nice for them to be able to enjoy the game with a lot less to have to do work-wise also.
100%.
Yeah.
And looking into the matchup, East Stroudsburg, a familiar foe, faced them in the World Series a couple of years ago. What can we expect to see from your team going into this matchup?
So, just like them and ourselves, we have added, different players since then. We're a little bit different teams. She actually, Davenport returns for her that we didn't see in the World Series, but she was a freshman last year that we saw, ended up being freshman of the year in the country.
Wow.
On the mound. She's a great player. And I feel like, with what she brings and how we've seen her and scouted her, I think we're, in a position where we're ready to, come out versus her. And that'll give our girls a good opportunity to see good pitching after a weekend of good pitching. So I think that, we're in a good spot with that. They've added a little bit of speed. They've added some things to complement what they've already had. But, I think we're in a position where we're ready for it. I mean, the weekend that we had, there's some kids that are showing the numbers that they did. Like Aubrey had an incredible weekend offensively. Cass had an incredible weekend pitching and offensively. Gracie and Cass, I think, both match up with East Stroudsburg very well. And then on top of it, we have a mix of speed, which we had prior, that I think they'll probably be ready for. But we also, can do some other things too. And I feel like our infield defense is in a position where it's probably the best we've had since I've been here. And, Tori's always been a very good defender, but her bat is really coming around. She's really, buying into situational hitting, and she's taken some good swings. So that's nice to see her kind of come around full circle. And I just think, with that and how we've, Gianna and Brent have always been good in the infield, but I think that they're even stepping up their game, and Gianna's bat will come around. It didn't show number-wise from the weekend, but she's, I think all of those things have a chance to come together after getting a few games under their belt this weekend.
how important do you feel like it is for your team in the long term to schedule these type of opponents early? Because these are all teams that are going to be top in their region that you're going to see in the postseason. So how important do you feel like this is for your
I
team?
think extremely. When I started coaching, I used to have this reputation, and everybody would laugh at me that like I would have like some of the hardest schedules. I think 2 years ago, Barry and I ended with the number 1 and 2 hardest strength of schedules in the country. Like that's sort of my MO. It's what I like to do. I think when I was young, I did it because I needed to know what the best players and best teams looked like so that I knew how to recruit in order to beat them. And then I always say, if you're going to be the best, you got to beat the best. And that's kind of been my philosophy. And the girls really buy into it. We've had some that have been on teams where they've had lesser like opponents, and then I think it like kind of shell shocks them initially when they come here, but then after they see what it does long term, and I make it clear to explain to them, like for the long term postseason, what it does, I think it just prepares them better for one, and then also puts us in a better situation when you're going head to head with someone else that maybe you haven't played and maybe hasn't played, as tough a competition. All those things seem to matter. So I personally think it's extremely important. And then, you got to be the ones that should be there at the end. So if you're not playing anybody, it's hard to have that argument.
Yep. And to close it out, normally I do a Josh's top 3 or like top 3 snacks. But in the spirit of you reaching your 500th career win, what is your top 3 coaching moments?
Ooh, top 3 coaching moments. Okay. Wow. I mean, you should have prepped me for this prior. So I would say, obviously going to the World Series, but I'm gonna say that that regional win to the road to that was incredible. I had never been a part of an actual regional championship to send us that way, and what I witnessed Liz do on the mound was incredible. So that's going to go as my number 1. That road to the World Series, of course. My number 2 was the first year I took over Emporia. I'm pretty sure they hated me in the fall, which is fair. And we had a moment in Texas where about the second weekend out, where it was like the shift where they finally trusted me and took off, and they ended up going undefeated in the MIAA conference. It's the only time it's happened in the history of the conference. They won the regular season, they won the conference championship, and at the tournament, and that year was by far one of the most special years because I think of obviously the big turnaround. And let's see, my third. Gosh, Josh.
It's a tough one.
I know. I would say my third is probably, must have been my, gosh, how many years we're in? Probably 2018. No, that's not right. That'd been here. There was probably 2013 or 14. Mm-hmm. I was a part of a group that led the country in double plays. Wow. Our number 1 pitcher also led the country in wins. And I think that, I don't know, we probably had 3 or 4 All-Americans that year. We had the Player of the Year and the not Golden Glove, but Defensive Player of the Year in the conference. Those are probably some of the biggest moments. And I would hate to not say that Brenna's Golden Glove being the first ever in the so I got 4. Yeah. So those are probably my all-time coaching moments, because I don't know, to watch a kid struggle throughout the year, mm-hmm. to watch them hit their lows and their highs, and then to do incredible things that no one else has ever done are probably my all-time highs. To be able to take a first-time ever team to a championship and to a World Series, to be able to have a first-time undefeated conference, to be able to have a first-time Golden Glove, and I mean, to watch kids accomplish those things are amazing. So although it sounds like it's your coaching moment, it's also it happened. Everything you worked for, whenever you wanted to give up, it full circle happened. And I think those moments are probably my most special. I'm sure I'm forgetting a ton more, but you really got me with the top 3.
It normally catches everyone off guard with
Yeah,
it. I know.
yeah.
Totally
I don't know.
does.
I was thinking the snacks might be tough, but like this was way more difficult.
Well, Coach LeMaire, appreciate you coming on. Good luck the rest of the season. Fans, thank you for tuning in. Inside the Tank, out.